There's a very specific kind of person who remembers rewinding VHS tapes before returning them, and also remembers downloading their very first MP3 online. Not fully analog, not fully digital. A generation caught directly between two completely different worlds. People born between the late 1970s and mid-1980s grew up during one of the strangest transitions in modern history. Researchers later gave this group a name, Xennials, a small microgeneration sitting between Gen X and Millennials. Unlike broader generations, this group experienced something extremely specific. They spent their childhood in a world without the internet, then entered adulthood just as technology completely transformed everyday life almost overnight. Before smartphones and social media, life worked differently. People passed handwritten notes in class, memorized phone numbers, and made plans without constant communication. If someone was late, you simply waited and hoped they would arrive. And perhaps most importantly, mistakes disappeared naturally. Embarrassing moments faded into memory because nothing permanently recorded them. Childhood wasn't archived online forever. It slowly softened with time the way human memory was designed to. Then suddenly, everything changed. Email, mobile phones, broadband internet, digital music, and early social media arrived all at once. Within only a few years, the world many people grew up in practically vanished. Psychologists believe timing played a major role. The brain continues developing adaptability and learning systems well into early adulthood. Xennials were young enough to absorb new technology naturally, but old enough to clearly remember life before it existed. Older generations often had to consciously learn the internet like a second language. Younger generations simply grew up inside it. But Xennials experienced both realities equally, making them one of the few groups who fully understand each side. They remember being unreachable for hours without anxiety, but also adapted smoothly into constant digital communication. Not because they were unusually talented, but because history forced them to evolve at exactly the right moment. But this generation also entered adulthood during periods of major instability. Many began careers during economic crashes, layoffs, and financial uncertainty. Those experiences quietly shaped how they approached money, work, and long-term security. Even years later, that instability often lingers beneath the surface. The backup plans, emergency savings, hesitation before major decisions. Sometimes it's less about fear and more about remembering what uncertainty once felt like. Many also became natural translators between generations. Comfortable with both traditional systems and modern technology, they often end up bridging gaps between older coworkers and younger digital native generations. From the outside, that adaptability looks impressive. But constantly carrying responsibility, smoothing conflicts, and helping everyone adjust can slowly become emotionally exhausting without people fully realizing it. And maybe that's what makes this generation unique. Not superiority, not nostalgia, but the experience of watching one entire version of human life quietly disappear while another completely different world emerged in its place. Most people grow up inside one stable reality. Xennials experienced the seam between two eras, old enough to remember what came before, yet young enough to move forward without getting left behind. And in a world that continues changing faster every year, the people who already learned how to adapt without losing themselves may understand something incredibly valuable about surviving uncertain times.